Welcome to and today, we're counting down our picks for the most gut-wrenching films that can turn the toughest bro into a blubbering puddle. We won't be including any animated entries. Do you consider yourself a macho man, yet always reach for the tissue box during a specific movie? 10. It's a Wonderful Life, 1946. In addition to being a Christmas classic, Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life is a harrowing tale about the difficulties in achieving stability in America. The protagonist, George Bailey, spends his life sacrificing his own aspirations to support his family and community. His selflessness costs him dearly, pushing his family business to the brink of insolvency. At this dark moment, George considers taking his own life, but is stopped by an angel named Clarence, who shows him all the good he's contributed. This low point is shockingly emotional for a movie made in 1946. When the community ultimately rallies around Gurge, it's hard not to tear up at the thought of good deeds finally being rewarded. 9. Rocky I'm Fee, 1985. In Rocky III, the heavyweight champ loses everything. Clubber Lang takes his title, and a heart attack takes the life of his trainer and surrogate father Mickey. It's only by befriending and training with his former rival Apollo Creed that Rocky makes it back to the top. XREF. That friendship blossoms in Rocky Y4. Apollo invites Rocky to be his cornerman when taking on the giant Soviet, Ivan Drago. Despite Rocky's protestations, Apollo underestimates his adversary and pays the ultimate price. His death is an absolute shock for Rocky and the audience, who are both forced to mourn him throughout the film. When Rocky's rage transforms into grace and a call for peace, it's impossible not to be moved. 8. The Green Mile, 1999. The concept of a personal journey during life in prison isn't a new one, as it's been done several times in movies, as in the other Stephen King tale, the Oscar-nominated Shawshank Redemption. However, we'd argue that The Green Mile delivers its heartfelt message more effectively. Much of this can be attributed to stellar performances from Tom Hanks and Michael Clarke Duncan as we watch their characters bond and share their personal experiences and perspectives. The subject matter is dark, but if the film successfully teaches us anything, it is to hold on to hope even in the direst of situations. If that's not worthy of shedding a tear or two, then what is? 7. Warrior, 2011. Brothers fight. It's just sibling nature. But to have to square off in a brutal MMA cage fight is another thing entirely. Warrior establishes that the relationship between brothers Tommy and Brendan hasn't exactly been all that buddy-buddy, with a great deal of distance created between them over the years. Despite their estranged family dynamics, as well as the dozens of punches and kicks they toss at each other's faces, these two brothers manage to put their differences aside and realize how much they actually care for one another. It's a stunning display of the unconditional love found in brotherhood and packs quite the punch. 6. Forrest Gump, 1994. Watching the life, struggles, and triumphs of Forrest Gump is enough to make even the most stoic, burly man bawl his eyes out. Tom Hanks is no stranger to emotionally charged films, like the epic drama Cast Away. But it's his tender, kind-hearted performance as Mr. Gump, a man born a little different, but still with a heart of gold, who's trying to find his place in the world, that hits way harder. Whether Forrest is explaining to Jenny how he understands the concept of love, meeting his son, or summing up life with a box of chocolates, this man brings us some valuable life lessons, and we should bring along some tissues. 5. Interstellar, 2014. When Earth's resources are exhausted, former NASA pilot Cooper has no choice but to help in a reconnaissance mission to find a new planet for humanity to call home. Saving the human race means Cooper has to leave his family behind, which includes his young daughter, Murph, with whom he shares an incredibly strong bond. Any fathers watching in particular would feel the weight of having to leave their child for a greater good. Pouring even more salt in the wound, Cooper receives video messages from Earth and has to witness all the events he is missing in his daughter's life, with one scene having him break down entirely. And we're inclined to join him. 4. Brian's Song, 1971. Sports are recognized for developing friendships and bringing people together despite difficulties of modern life. Nowhere is this more evident than in Brian's Song, an ABC TV movie that was later released in theaters. Based in the mid-60s, when racial tension was highly prevalent within American society, football players Brian and Gail shatter all societal norms of their day by forming an unbreakable friendship despite the colors of their skin. Their shared connection served as a symbol of civility and harmony in an era that otherwise frowned upon it. Both men stayed by one another's side through all trials and tribulations, including Brian developing cancer. Now that's a true bromance right there. 3. Saving Private Ryan, 1998. Saving Private Ryan was so realistic, the Department of Veteran Affairs had to create a specific hotline for World War II vets who were traumatized by it. Even those who never saw war would struggle to hold back tears. By forcing the audience deep into the trenches, they are made to share in the experience of this squad of soldiers. With each member's death, viewers begin to feel like they're losing a personal friend. Like Schindler's List before it, Spielberg expertly compels his audience to confront the harsh realities of war. From the sorrow of watching many perish during the Holocaust to the horror of soldiers witnessing their comrades fall, Spielberg brought men across America to tears. 2. Good Will Hunting, 1997. In this extremely personal story about finding your place in the world and moving on from the hardships of life, there's no shortage of moments to send waterfalls flowing out from your eyes. As we learn more about Will's many difficulties in life, we feel more connected with him and whatever pain he goes through, and we fully sympathize. Take your pick for the saddest scene, but most would agree it's the powerfully acted and written "It's Not Your Fault" sequence. With all that in mind, it's not your fault either if you end up crying during this movie. Grab a buddy and hug it out. It'll be okay. So 1. Field of Dreams, 1989. Iowa farmer Ray Kinsella is a simple man who one day hears voices urging him to build something, which Ray interprets as a baseball field. He sets up a baseball diamond in his cornfield, and before he knows it, baseball stars of the past, like Shoeless Joe Jackson, visit him. Despite others taunting him, and the fact that it threatens to send him into bankruptcy, Ray maintains the field. In the end, this field of dreams allows Ray to learn more about himself than he ever imagined. It also provides him with the chance to introduce his daughter to her grandfather, as he ends up being one of the many visitors on the field.